everybody, I'm Tom Vassell. Welcome back to our series called 12 Games of Christmas, where we give you, in different categories, 12 great games that you can go online at online stores like Game Nerds or other places and buy these games for other people or yourself for Christmas this year. This series is sponsored by the World Series of Board Gaming, and I mention that a little bit here because this particular episode we're talking about stocking stuffers, games to put in a stocking, or hopefully it depends on how big your stocking is, of course. And in here you could give someone a gift to go to the World Series of Board Gaming next year. Now there are ways that you can win there's different game groups and different game stores, and even some conventions are going to have prizes where you can win, a seat at the table at the World Series of Board Games. But you can just go online to their website, wsbgvegas.com, and you can buy a ticket. There's 16 different events. You can get into one event for $250 or two events for $350, or you can even get into three events for more than that. And that might be something. You got someone who loves board games, put that in their stocking. But let's talk now about some games that go in stockings. What are the games that you would give people, or smallish style games? Here we go.
All right, so our first stocking stuffer is called Mint Cooperative, and this is one of a series of games that are held in little mint tins. Perfect size to slide right into a stocking, and the person who receives it might think they've gotten some mints. It looks like it. You open it up, even some of the components inside look like little mints, little white discs. But this is a fully fledged cooperative game where you are playing as superheroes trying to defeat a villain, but it's mostly going to be made up of little cards that you're going to place out. There's some dice involved as well. As I said, there's a whole series of games in this line. You've got some worker placement games, some pick up and deliver games, but this is a nice, fully fledged cooperative game. It plays relatively quickly, but it's nice. The spirit of the holidays, let's all work together and defeat this villain. That is Mint Cooperative.
The next stocking stuffer is Hanabi, which is a small cooperative card game with some deduction in it. So in Hanabi, you have different colors of cards, 1 through 5, and you're trying to play them in order. But you can't see your own hand. You're just holding them face out to everyone else to see. So you can either give a clue or discard a card or play a card, and the clues you give have to be to someone telling them that they have all this number. So like if they have 3 ones in their hand, you have to say all these cards are ones, or all of these cards are this color. So you can't just give them whatever clue you want. If they have a card that you don't really care about, but then want to tell them something about this other card, but they're the same number or the same color, you have to think about which clues you're giving very carefully, because you're also limited on clues. So if you like cooperative card games, it's a great stocking stuffer.
Silver and Gold is our next stocking stuffer up. Now this is a fun roll and write game, and I love that it is all contained. So you've got your dry erase markers, you've got your cards, you've got everything you need in this small little box, fits in a stocking. Perfect. So this roll and write game, basically what you're doing is you're flipping over cards, and they have Tetris shapes. You've got your little curves and your squares and whatever, and you're trying to fill in all of the boxes inside of these fun, weird shaped cards. When you fill them in, you get points. There's also a little bit of set collection here and there. There's some other ways to score. So it is a super fun, simple roll and write game that is just great, fits in a stocking. It's perfect.
My pick for this list is The Crew. It's a perfect stocking stuffer where it just comes in this little box. It's a deck of cards with beautifully illustrated cards. And it takes a whole new twist on the trick-taking mechanism, where instead of everybody competing against each other, you're playing cooperatively. So you are trying to get, it goes from 1 to 9, and in, I think 4 different colors or suits. And so you are trying to gain certain numbers based on the mission and everything. So maybe I have to get the number 2, the green 2, right? So everybody knows I have to gain the green 2. And sometimes in the mission, you're allowed some sort of information that you could give, where you actually place down a card saying like, hey, I have this card and it's my only card, or it's my highest card, or my lowest card, which is interesting. So you gain little information, although some missions are like, you can't talk at all. And so you can't give any sort of information other than what you're playing to the middle of the pot there. And you're all working together to complete the mission. So that is my pick for this list.
We often talk in the gaming industry about micro games, games that are just a few cards. And that's what this next game, Air, Land, and Sea, Critters at War is. This shows of some cute animals kind of in some sort of war, and they're fighting on 3 different planes, land, air, and sea. And you have some cards, and you're playing there trying to have greater air power, land power, sea power. The cards give special abilities, you can move things around, but there's only a few cards in this game. And you have to decide whether you think you're going to win a round or you're going to pull out, give your opponent a few points. But if you wait to the end and you lose overwhelmingly, you give them too many points. And the first person to get a certain number of points is the winner. It's really fast. It's really simple. It gives you this tenseness of, should I play a card or not? And the war theme itself is kind of irrelevant. If you like the war, the little animals shooting at each other, that's fine. But even despite that, it's a really fast, back and forth, great 2-player game.
For this list, I'm recommending Cartographers from Thunderworks Games. It is one of the best flip and write games out there. Players are creating maps as cards are flipped for each season, showing specific shapes and land types for you to draw, so every player's map is unique. There are different scoring objectives each season, so you're trying to gain the most points based on how you draw your lands each turn. Now, not only is it incredibly fun trying to draw your own little kingdom, but there is plenty of room to build your strategy. Don't get too comfortable, though, in your happy little world, because there are monsters lurking about. So as the game progresses, different monsters are added to the deck. And when a monster is flipped, a neighboring player gets to decide where to add in the corresponding shape. Oh, the best laid plans. The player with the highest score after all 4 seasons is the winner. This game is quick to teach and can be played with basically any number of players. You can get incredibly creative with drawing in your shapes too. It's small enough to fit in most stockings and is sure to be one of the coolest things in it. And for a little extra pizzazz, add a package of colored pencils too. You'll thank me when you play.
Next up, I'm recommending Skull. This is a great game that'll fit into a stocking, but it also has really great quality components for being a small box and for not being too expensive. This is a fun, almost a bit of a bluffing game, kind of reading the other people at the table. Super easy to pick up. All you're doing is either putting another card or one of your coasters into the middle of the table, or you're calling it and saying, I think that, there is a skull, there's no skull. And so once you do that, everybody flips over, and either you get got or everybody else gets got. And it's a very fun, simple little mechanism, and yet you have a lot of stand-up moments of cheering and shouting. And so if you like that kind of that fun environment, and you think that somebody else might like that as well, I recommend this is a great stocking stuffer. That is Skull.
Next game is Illusion. Now Wolfgang Walsh has done it again.
Yeah, very small box game. It's got basically 2 rules. You're looking at random patterns on cards and trying to sort them in order of how much of a certain color is on it. And it's really tough to wrap your mind around the cards themselves. The rules are dead simple, and you can pull this out of your pocket and play it on almost any occasion.
Almost any number of players, right?
You could. I think it is technically a 4-player game. There's no reason you can't everyone have fun with multiple players.
Such a good work time break game. Just pull it out and you just get everyone involved, guess what's the percentage of each color, and then trying to order it in the right way, and if you guess it right, and you get that point. So
yep. There's nothing like it out there. It's simple and brilliant, and it fits in a stocking.
All right, let's talk about Marvel Infinity Gauntlet, a love letter game. Yes, it's a mouthful, but this game is worth it because it's not just another love letter reskin. That game has come out many times, usually with a minor little twist here and there. But this Infinity Gauntlet version of Love Letter is actually quite different. One player is going to be playing as the bad characters, right? The Thanos trying to collect those gemstones. Everyone else is playing against them. So right there, it's a 1 versus all game. You are, of course, following some of the traditional love letter ideas. You have a card, you draw one, from those you play one, and you will be affecting each other. The Thanos player actually has a hand of 2 and draws one, and plays one of those 3. The stones are represented in the game. They'll have their own power, and the players are simply trying to eliminate that evil mastermind before they themselves do that to the good guys. It's clever, it's engaging, it's quick, of course, because it's love letter, and I love the artwork. I love the way it takes a game that is very popular, very well known, love letter, and sort of turns it on its head. Gives you a new thing to approach, a new idea, and one you need to think about differently. Infinity Gauntlet, a love letter game, is a wonderful little stocking stuffer. I recommend it.
So my recommendation for this section of games are the Deckscape games, and to be honest, you can't go wrong with any of them that I've played so far. So the Deckscape games, for those that don't know, they're puzzle escape room type games in a box, but it's about the size of a deck of cards, so it's not a huge game, and yet there's actually a lot more fun in these games than you realize. So there's a choice of about 8 of them, and to be honest, that'd be hard to make a recommendation between them so far. They're not too difficult, but they're not too easy either. I think that they're a good challenge, and as a group activity, they're really, really good fun. They're also a reasonable price point, and you don't dispose of them at the end of the game. They are reusable, although obviously once you've solved the puzzles, you've solved the puzzles. But this is a fantastic series of games, and I highly recommend it. The Deckscape games.
Another great stocking stuffer is Deep Sea Adventure, which is a push your luck game themed that you're deep sea divers on a submarine, but you're all sharing the same oxygen tank. So you're trying to go down, get a bunch of treasure, and then go back up before the oxygen runs out. On your turn, you're rolling to move, but when you pick up treasure, you move less because you're carrying treasure and it's too heavy. Also, you start taking up oxygen when you have treasure. So the more treasure you have, the more oxygen you take up. And that can go really fast when a lot of people are taking up the treasure and then they're way at the bottom and then you can't get back up. So then people start running out of oxygen and everyone dies. But yeah, it's very fun trying to press your luck and get as much treasure you can, but also try to make it back up. And it lasts multiple rounds, so in further rounds, the treasures kind of pile up, and the ones that you've taken are gone, so you can go down deeper, there's better treasure down at the bottom. So yeah, you're just trying to get a bunch of treasure. It's often very a hilarious game. So Deep Sea Adventure is a great stocking stuffer.
And finally, for this list, we have Ohanami. Ohanami, this is my family's choice. We really love this game, where you are collecting cards that have numbers on them, and you're building 3 columns in front of you. And you can make a column larger or smaller as you play these cards on it. And then you score points based on the different colors of the cards you take. It sounds really simple, but if you've grown up playing games like Racco, or just any kind of card game, even Solitaire where you're stacking cards, this is going to be really fun, because you're sitting there and you're drafting the cards. You're sitting there saying, I want to take these cards to help me, or I want to take these cards so that you can't get them. And deciding when to jump down farther on a column or not. There's a lot of good choices, but it's also really easy to play, just a few rules. So definitely a family favorite, and it fits in a stocking. And that's it, folks, for our 12 Games of Christmas Stocking Stuffer Edition. Like I said, check online and you can find hopefully most of these. And also check out our sponsor. We have a link for them in the description, the World Series of Board Games. We hope to see you there. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas holiday. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and this has been 12 Days of Christmas Stocking Stuffers.